Around the world, there are ancient discoveries that refuse to be explained, monuments so big, tombs so deeply concealed, and civilizations so advanced that, even today, they remain among history's greatest mysteries. In this video, we'll be looking at the 15 most unsolved mysteries that cannot be explained. From the hidden tunnels of Bolivia to the mysterious elongated skulls of Peru, each discovery opens a doorway into the deepest mysteries of our ancient past. These are not legends, but real enigmas, supported by ancient records, forgotten relics, and geological evidence. So let's get started with number 15, Teotihuacan civilization. The people who built Teotihuacan remain one of Mexico's greatest archaeological mysteries, because historians still cannot agree on exactly who they were. The ancient city rises above the Toluca Valley, surrounded by steep cliffs and powerful defensive walls that once made it almost impossible for enemies to capture. Researchers believe the settlement already existed before the fall of Teotihuacan during the 9th century, although its true beginnings remain uncertain. The architecture only adds to the confusion. Some buildings strongly resemble those of Teotihuacan, while others clearly reflect Otomi traditions, suggesting different cultures may have shared the city over time. Archaeologists uncovered pyramids, ceremonial plazas, jaguar sculptures, and a large Mesoamerican ball court, showing that Teotihuacan was once an important religious and political center. Human remains also point to sacrificial rituals practiced within its walls. The Aztecs later settled there before the arrival of the Spanish. Even after decades of research, part of Teotihuacan's story still seems to have disappeared without a trace. Number 14. Akhenaten and the Amarna Purge. Egypt followed royal traditions. Then Akhenaten broke many of them. Born Amenhotep IV, he placed the Aten above Egypt's other gods, changed his name, left Thebes, and built a capital at Akhetaten, now Amarna. Art changed with him. Reliefs and statues showed the king with a long face, narrow chest, rounded stomach, broad hips, and elongated features. The images inspired medical theories, but no evidence proves they record a strange body or unknown condition. Most scholars view the appearance as part of a religious style shared by the royal family. After his death, the experiment collapsed. Tut restored the older gods. Later rulers dismantled Aten temples, reused their blocks, removed Akhenaten's name, and cut him from official king lists. The destruction was real, but likely political and religious, rather than an attempt to hide his anatomy. Even so, why did ancient Egypt work so hard to erase a pharaoh it had once obeyed? Number 13. Cerro Baul. The strangest part of Cerro Baul is not that people lived on a mountain, it is how much effort they spent making that life possible. Rising above Peru's Moquegua Valley, this steep, flat-topped mesa became a major Wari center during the Middle Horizon, roughly AD 600 to 1000. Builders carried stone upward, created homes, ceremonial halls, temples, storage areas, and spaces for large feasts. Water posed an even harder problem. The summit had no easy natural supply, so the community depended on canals, collection systems, and planning. Cerro Baul also stood near Tiwanaku settlements, placing it along a tense border between two great Andean powers. That may explain its defensive position, but not the full scale of construction. Archaeologists have even found a brewery linked to state gatherings. Was this mountaintop a fortress, sacred center, political statement, or all three? Whatever its role, Cerro Baul proves that ancient Andean builders chose one of the hardest places imaginable and made it work. Number 12. Tsul pagan figurine. Back in 2014, a fisherman named Nikolay headed to a lake in southern Siberia, expecting nothing more than an ordinary fishing trip. Instead, he pulled from the water an object that immediately caught his attention. It was a small carved figurine with an eerily human face and a stern expression that almost seemed unsettling. At first, it barely looked like an archaeological discovery. Experts later determined the figure had been carved from animal horn around 4,000 years ago, and most likely represented a pagan deity worshipped by Bronze Age cultures that once lived throughout the region. Researchers still disagree over whether it belonged to the Okunev culture or the Samis people, both of whom occupied southern Siberia thousands of years ago. The remarkable part is how easily the artifact could have been lost forever. Nikolai could have tossed it aside without another thought, but instead he delivered it to a local museum, where specialists recognized its true value after 4,000 years beneath the water. Number 11. The Sumerian King List and the Rulers. Ancient Mesopotamia left many records, but few are stranger than the Sumerian King List. Its complete copy, which is called the Weld-Blundell Prism, dates to around 1800 BC and is held by Oxford's Ashmolean Museum. The text names rulers, cities, and reigns reaching back before a great flood. Alulim of Eridu receives 28,800 years. Alalgar follows with 36,000. 8 early kings together rule for 241,200 years. Later names become more believable, and several belong to historical dynasties. That change keeps the puzzle alive. Scholars usually read the opening section as myth, political theology, or symbolic number work, built around units such as the Sar, equal to 3,600. It is not proof of immortal rulers. Still, the prism records those impossible figures with the same calm order used elsewhere. Were they sacred cycles, legends, or memories reshaped by scribes? The clay remains, its oldest kings do not. So who was the real king? Number 10. The Kasarabe civilization. For centuries, the Canos de Moxos in northern Bolivia were dismissed as an empty wilderness. That's because thick forest and floods made the region almost impossible to explore, leaving many convinced that no large civilization had ever flourished there. Then, in 2022, this changed. By using LiDAR, researchers revealed an enormous network of ancient settlements hidden beneath the vegetation. The study uncovered monumental centers linked by miles of raised causeways, reservoirs, canals, defensive earthworks, and broad agricultural fields. The people behind this achievement belonged to the Kasarabe culture, which thrived between about AD 500 and 1400. Their engineering transformed one of South America's most difficult landscapes into a place capable of supporting tens of thousands of people. Until those laser scans pierced the forest canopy, nobody realized an urban civilization of this scale had existed. The discovery changed how historians view the ancient Amazon and proved that Bolivia still hides wonders. Number 9. Wayland the Smith and Frank's Casket. Wayland the Smith appears in so many ancient European legends that historians still debate whether there was once a real man behind the stories. Different cultures gave him different names, but the legend always stayed remarkably similar. He was a master blacksmith, capable of crafting objects no ordinary artisan could produce. One of the strongest references to him appears on the famous Frank's Casket, an Anglo-Saxon artifact carved with scenes from mythology, history, and the Bible. What makes it especially unusual is that Wayland is shown alongside biblical figures and stories from ancient Rome, revealing how highly people once regarded him. According to legend, he was captured by a king and forced to forge priceless treasures while imprisoned on an isolated island. In time, he took brutal revenge before escaping with mechanical wings he supposedly built himself. The tale sounds impossible today, but many ancient legends began with real people. Somewhere beneath the myth, there may have been an extraordinary craftsman whose reputation outlived history itself. Now let's move to number 8, the skulls of Motala. Well, skull discoveries are disturbing on their own, but the ones found at Motala in Sweden are in a category of their own. At an ancient lakeside site, archaeologists uncovered the remains of 11 people, including men, women, children, and even infants. Several skulls had been carefully placed on wooden stakes, while others still carried signs of severe injuries suffered during life. Stranger still, a few contained fragments of other human skulls tucked inside them, creating a scene unlike anything researchers had encountered before. Naturally, theories began to appear. Some believe the site was used for ritual ceremonies, while others think it reflected unusual burial customs or forgotten spiritual beliefs that disappeared thousands of years ago. The healed fractures found on many of the skulls only deepen the mystery, raising questions about who these people really were and what they endured. More than 8,000 years later, Motala continues to leave archaeologists searching for answers that remain frustratingly out of reach. Number 7. The bronze of the mysterious Luristan culture. For nearly a century, strange bronze objects have continued emerging from the mountains of western Iran. Archaeologists call them the Luristan bronzes, but the name reveals very little about how extraordinary they truly are. Many pieces portray humans intertwined with animals, horned creatures, snakes, birds, and figures that resemble something from a nightmare rather than ancient religious art. Some faces even blend directly into claws or twisted bodies. The craftsmanship is what leaves researchers speechless. Delicate expressions, sharp details, and perfectly balanced forms were created more than 3,000 years ago using remarkably advanced bronze casting techniques. That creates a puzzle because the people linked to these artifacts are believed to have been nomads without permanent cities or major workshops. Work of this quality demanded controlled furnaces, skilled metalworkers, and deep technical knowledge. Yet these bronzes keep appearing inside graves across the Zagros Mountains, each one unlike the last, as though every piece carried its own forgotten story. Even today, nobody knows who built them or why. Number 6. Bolivia's hidden tunnels. Some of Bolivia's greatest mysteries are not standing above the ground. They may still lie beneath it. At Samatypata, archaeologists noticed long ago that openings near the base of the carved sandstone appear to lead into underground passages. Exactly where those spaces extend, or whether they were shaped by nature or human hands, remains uncertain. Because the site is protected as a UNESCO site, large excavations are limited, making full exploration difficult. Ground-penetrating radar has confirmed cavities beneath parts of the monument, but the underground layout is still unknown. Samatypata is not the only place with questions. Across Bolivia, archaeologists have documented buried structures, sealed chambers, and unexplored features, waiting for careful investigation. The same LiDAR tech that exposed the vast Casarabe civilization has only been used across a small part of the country. If one survey uncovered an entire forgotten civilization, what else could still be hidden beneath Bolivia's landscape? Number 5. The Ottawa Backyard Sword. Most people digging up their backyard expect to uncover broken bricks, old pipes, or maybe a forgotten coin. A couple in Ottawa found something far more unexpected. While contractors were preparing the ground for a new deck, an old military sword emerged from the soil beneath their property. At first, the rust-covered weapon seemed too damaged to attract much attention. Even so, the homeowners sensed it might be worth showing to experts instead of tossing it aside. Historians later identified it as a late 19th century officer's sword, most likely linked to Canadian or British forces from the Boer War era. The weapon is believed to date to around 1897. The real mystery begins there. The house itself wasn't built until years after the war had ended, meaning the sword had already been buried long before the property even existed. Who left it there? What circumstances led to it being hidden? And why no one ever returned for it is still a mystery. Number 4. Pakal the Great and the Mystery of His Tomb. On June 15, 1952, Mexican archaeologist Alberto Ruiz Huillier stepped into a chamber no one had entered for nearly 13 centuries. Hidden beneath the Temple of the Inscriptions at Palenque was the tomb of Kinich Janab Pakal, one of the greatest Maya rulers, who reigned from AD 615 to 683. At its center rested a massive limestone sarcophagus, sealed with a lid weighing almost 5 tons. The carving covering that lid has fascinated researchers ever since. Maya scholars explain it as Pakal descending into the underworld beneath the world tree, surrounded by symbols of death, rebirth, and royal power. Even so, its unusual composition has inspired decades of debate outside archaeology, with some claiming it resembles far more than traditional Maya art. Pakal's tomb remained untouched until its discovery, preserving one of the finest royal burials ever found in the Americas. More than 70 years later, the monument still invites new interpretations without giving up its true meaning. Well, history is perplexing. Number 3. The strange stone statues of Sulawesi. Well, everyone has heard of Easter Island, but far fewer people know about the mysterious stone statues scattered across Indonesia's Sulawesi Island. Hidden among valleys and forests stand around 400 carved figures, ranging from small human-shaped sculptures to towering monuments reaching more than 15 feet in height. The strangest part is that nobody knows who created them, exactly when they were carved, or what purpose they served. Unlike many ancient sites, there are no nearby settlements, workshops, or burial grounds that clearly explain their existence. They simply stand in silence, surrounded by nature, as though they were placed there overnight. Some statues even resemble stone coffins, encouraging theories that they were linked to ancient funeral traditions. Others believe they belong to a forgotten civilization, erased long before history was written. Local folklore tells an even stranger story, claiming these figures were once living people turned into stone as punishment. Until stronger evidence appears, Sulawesi's silent guardians remain one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. Number 2. Göbekli Tepe and the monument, buried on purpose. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt recognized that a quiet limestone ridge in southeastern Turkey was hiding something extraordinary. Excavations revealed Göbekli Tepe, a sanctuary built around 9600 BC, making it thousands of years older than Stonehenge and the pyramids of Egypt. Huge T-shaped limestone pillars, some over 5 meters tall and weighing up to 20 tons, stand inside carefully planned circular enclosures. Many carry detailed carvings of foxes, snakes, vultures, wild boar, and other animals carved with remarkable skill. But the greatest mystery came later. Instead of collapsing with time, the enclosures were deliberately buried beneath thousands of tons of earth and stone. Archaeologists have confirmed this was a planned effort, not a natural event. Why people invested so much work to hide a place they had spent generations building remains unknown. Even today, only a small part of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated, meaning most of its secrets still lie beneath the hillside. All right, let's end this with Number 1. The mysterious Merimde head. At Merimde Beni Salama in northern Egypt, archaeologists found a small clay head dating back nearly 7,000 years. Compared to later Egyptian artwork, it appears rough and unfinished. Yet that's exactly what makes it so remarkable. Early Egyptian communities rarely produced realistic three-dimensional human faces like this. Most surviving images from that period focused on animals, symbols, or simple designs instead. Yet someone carefully shaped eyes, a nose, and a mouth from wet clay, then left the piece among everyday settlement remains, rather than placing it inside a tomb or sacred site. Nothing about it points to wealth or ritual use. There are no painted details, decorative features, or attempts to create an idealized face. Instead, it feels deeply personal, like an early attempt to preserve someone's appearance long before Egyptian civilization truly emerged. The most puzzling part is how alone it stands. Comparable human sculptures from this period are rare, leaving experts with one question: why was someone already trying to capture individual identity thousands of years before the first pharaohs appeared? If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.